Welcome back. It's been a while. Well, we just shot a video, but it'll go up around the same time as this
Man,
one.
all that 30 minutes that you took to
Well, before that,
hang out this list. that
it's
you
been
had
like-
a day and a half to work on.
it's been like 2 weeks since I put a video up. You had one out like last week.
Yeah, I know. That's because I care.
I care
about
too.
you.
I
Internet
care about
world.
them too. I care about the internet. I do care. So once again, I am Jared
You
from.
voted for SOPA.
I'm Jared from Ninja Mafia Entertainment, and with me, as usual, is Trudy from Shana Will Slash You, and like the guy who wasn't supposed to be a regular but is.
I wasn't. I was just supposed to be like 2 episodes, maybe 3, and now I'm
It's
in every single.
Almost every
All
episode.
but one video you put up has me in it.
Yeah.
It's going to be all but 2 very soon. But
Yeah, I'm excited. I know, right? I mean, I popped over on your channel like a lot more than I thought I would, though. Like,
yeah,
like
you
2
did a
to
let's
3
play.
times.
Well, it's a
We need to
pleasant
get together
surprise
and do a
to
let's
have
play
him
again.
with
That
us.
seemed to work out pretty well.
I want to do Batman. Like, I'm about to buy it, the Telltale.
Well, when you buy it, come on over and we'll do some playing.
All right,
It is a pleasant surprise to have him with us as always, though.
like back again. Every
Add
time.
some
And
color.
today we're doing something like we've ended up being a little bit negative, like more negative than we set out to be
Yes.
when we started this channel.
Well, you have. I'm
Like,
always negative.
Yeah, well, we decided to do like a fun, like we just did a top 10 list of movies we've seen. We're gonna do a top 10, well, it's more than top 10, but we're gonna do like a top list of movies from the past couple of years and our childhoods that we just think you should check out, and we're gonna have some fun. Like,
Now, just to clarify for everybody watching at home, the stuff from our childhood are movies that matter to us and what we recommend
Yes.
and think people should see. So we're talking like from the early and late 80s to the 90s.
I have one from the 70s.
You have one from the 70s?
I do. I have
Okay, that's cool.
one
'cause
from the 70s.
I got one from the 70s too.
I think it
And-
might end up being the same movie if I'm thinking correctly.
Maybe, I don't know.
All right.
But for the newer stuff, we chose to stick to the last 5
5
years.
years, yes.
And so that's probably where we're going to see the most marked difference between our opinions.
But
Maybe you'll see more, maybe I'll get more difference out of my wonderful cousin than I think. So who knows?
it's the first time you've admitted on camera we're related. It's a little bit
Related?
you just said we're cousins.
Why didn't anyone tell me?
You knew.
Oh my god! You could have bought me so many birthday presents. And you didn't.
I will buy you a birthday present, especially because the one you got me was amazing.
Yeah.
You knocked it out of the park. Like birthday presents, this guy killed it. Like this year.
It was a matter of circumstance. For those who haven't seen it, it's a custom portrait of Malcolm Merlin, signed by John Barrowman, and
It's
happy
amazing.
birthday.
Well
That's
done.
all you had to do. So it was a circumstance. I was in Hawaii. He was there, and I was like, you know what? I like him as Captain Jack Harkness, but you like him way more as a bad guy. So.
I do. Like, I mean, till like season. Well, that's another story.
We've danced around this
Alright.
long enough. Let's get this started.
All right.
Do we want to start with the old and go into the new?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Who wants to start first?
Category wise, like, start me off with the category.
All right.
And
Let's start with the action or drama.
action or drama. From my childhood, it had to be the Power Rangers movie. Like, I know it's like the cheesy movie,
Yes.
but that was like my childhood was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Ivan Ooze. Like,
Guys, this video might not be as long as I think about me getting disappointed in him. So.
like other action movie wise, I would say like the one that really sticks out was Terminator, but
The Terminator 2, you mean, or Terminator?
Terminator 1.
Okay.
Like the original Terminator.
You know, that's very interesting you say that because I classify that more as a horror movie.
I mean, it could. It was always like more
I've
action
always,
to me.
I've always classified Terminator 1 as one of the best horror movies because it shows smart people, well, competent people in a horrible situation being chased by an unstoppable force that refuses to do anything but kill you and will stop at nothing to achieve its goals.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, but
And it's one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. So, and one of my favorite horror movies, but not my favorite.
okay. And Trudy, what was your top action?
I mean,
movie?
I don't know if it's like an action, but I was thinking Blade.
Okay.
I'll run with it. I prefer Blade 2, but I'll work with it.
All
I
right.
like
And
That CG effect where he gets sliced in half does not hold up very well. I'm just gonna say that it looks kind of like those Jello effects they had back in the 90s.
But as a young kid,
No, I
it's
get what you're saying.
like, it's awesome. But going, like, a lot of things you go back and watch now as you're an adult, you're
it's
like,
wow.
how did I fall for that?
Yeah, that's true.
And where are we standing out with you?
For me, I have a bit of a slash on this. There are two movies, actually, that I kind of roll together, and it really depends on your tastes. The first version is Big Trouble in Little China,
Okay. Yeah.
which is a really fun action-adventure movie.
It leaks to comedy though.
It leaks a lot into comedy. That's why I have the slash in there.
Yeah.
The slash that I would put higher than that, though, that's my honorable mention for that. I'm going to say that. That's my
Alright.
honorable mention. Is Escape from New York. It's one of my favorite movies done by the director, whose name, not James Cameron, John Carpenter.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite John Carpenter movies ever, and it's the second movie you should watch if you want to watch the Kurt Russell-John Carpenter collaboration unit, because they work so well together. And if you like dystopian, if you love Metal Gear, this is what started Metal Gear to be Metal Gear the way it is. Snake Plissken is very obviously the template for what Snake was, how he acted. It's a wonderful movie. I cannot recommend seeing this enough.
I will completely agree with that. I think I first saw it when I'd seen the second one, then you brought me like the first one. It was
Yeah, don't
worlds better.
watch Escape from LA. It's
The first one is worlds better, but
I'm going to sum up Escape from LA in one sentence and how awful it is. Kurt Russell, Bruce Campbell, and Steve Buscemi cannot save an action movie. That's how awful Escape from LA is.
All right, let's hop next category. What do we get?
Next category is superheroes. Now I understand you were writing a lot into this one.
Okay, yeah. Old superheroes. I think this is my 70s Superman 2.
That's actually very, very interesting, and I'll tell you why after she goes.
Like that's
Because-
was just
Why
like
Superman 2 though?
it was definitely Superman 1's good, but Superman 2 it's like there's the two versions of it. Like if you go back, the original director's cut is just fantastic.
Oh, yes.
Solid story. Zod is one of my favorite Superman villains.
You will bow down before me.
Like that's where Neil before Zod came from. Like it's just Superman 2. That's my classic superhero movie. Honorable mention: Batman, the original. Michael
Keaton.
Yes.
Okay. I honestly thought you were going to lead with that one.
No, that's my second one. That was
Really? I am honestly really surprised. This is like the world's biggest Batman fillator right here. And I almost had $10 laid down that Batman would be your superhero movie from your childhood. I am
The funny
pleasantly
thing
surprised
is, he
today.
actually has it on here.
yeah, it's on.
I'm
there,
sure it
but-
is, but anyway.
And
I don't really have one unless you cast Power Rangers. Like,
Technically,
Yep.
it'll work.
Power Rangers.
Okay. And Sean.
Again, I have a split because these are two movies that I love so much. One came from a little later in my childhood, but was very much influenced from a part of it. And if you want a more modern superhero movie, Hellboy. I was a huge fan of the comics way back in the day. They were some of my favorite reads. Mike Mignola is a great writer and artist, and he cultivated a whole bunch of other people to come work over at Dark Horse with him, or Dark Horse cultivated a whole bunch of people to come work with him.
Yeah.
And either way, the comics are an absolute blast. The movie is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, but it's not my favorite.
Perlman killed it.
Right. Oh yeah, Perlman's great in that. But that's the one, if you don't like my personal recommendation. I totally recommend that. My recommendation is Superman #1.
I thought we would be very similar.
I
on
am
this.
honestly really surprised in this. I picked Superman #1 because it is, especially in light of how Superman has been portrayed recently.
Yeah.
He is bright, colorful, forward in approach, and just, it's fun.
It really
Even in its absolute dumbest moments,
it's fun.
it's fun. And that is what I look for in a movie, is can I have fun? And Superman, the first, delivers it in spades, and it delivers hope and promise, and it pays off all of it. And it is my absolute favorite superhero movie from my childhood.
It's up there, but that Superman 2, I liked it just a little bit more, and it was just, that was the one that like stuck out to me the most. It's just because, like, and that's the Superman I want, but I have
Right.
not gotten.
Well, that's the one we've been searching for forever, but that's a discussion for another day. We need to have these discussions we've talked about in all
Yeah.
of these videos.
All right, what's next?
Next up is sci-fi and fantasy.
Okay, sci-fi and fantasy.
We didn't write that down.
I have mine. I have like a sci-fi comedy one that's just kind of like in there for fun, and then my sci-fi would have to be Star Wars.
Okay.
Like original trilogy. If I had to pick one of the three, Empire.
Okay.
My fun one though, Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, I can understand that entirely.
Just that's my fun one in there, but sci-fi.
That is a blast of a movie. If you haven't seen Galaxy Quest and you love Star Trek, absolutely watch Galaxy Quest.
And I think it's on Netflix right now.
I think it is actually,
It's-
and yeah, a lot of the Star Trek cast members have come out and said that they love that movie so much.
like
It's so much fun.
a lot of Star Trek fans like the new Star Trek movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was like my fun one. But you know, classic Star Wars Empire. That's well, Trudy.
I have a fantasy one, which is Final Fantasy Advent Children. It's more of an animated, but
No, that's fine.
closer
That
to-
was-
That's
yeah,
fine.
it's closer to fantasy.
yeah.
I understand.
I really didn't watch a lot of sci-fi stuff.
I watched that. I watched that back when it came to theaters. Now that I actually think about it, I was really into it. It was like the first big adult CG movie that came out that was like mass marketed.
And it just helped. It was just a really good thing to me because I really loved the game Final Fantasy VII. Like, that was my jam.
See, that was where it didn't hold up for me because I wasn't the biggest fan of Final Fantasy, but I knew enough about it to where I looked at it and I was like, this.
I hated
This
Spirits
doesn't
Within.
look right.
Like
I liked Seven.
I like the Spirits Within for its visual aesthetic because I'm a huge cyberpunk fan.
yeah.
And I'm a huge sci-fi fan, and that just kind of blended everything into a nice little roll-up right there. And
It just
I'll agree with Trudy. It was visually arresting.
It was pretty good, and it, like, some of the stuff, like when I first watched it, I had already played Final Fantasy VII, so it was kind of like some of this is way different than the actual game, and then some of it is, and then it's like after I came back and watched it a second time though, then I kind of got it. I was like, this is really good.
That one was like more. That wasn't like childhood for me. That was like I think I saw that when I was like 17. Like the
Shouldn't have been that.
Advent Children. Like
Oh, Advent Children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say? Oh, I'm
Advent.
sorry. I thought you were talking about Spirits Within. No, I'll absolutely agree with Advent Children. That movie kicks ass.
I did
No,
not
not
like
Spirits Within.
Spirits Within.
I did
Okay.
not like it.
Yeah, no, that was what I was talking about. No, Advent Children kicks ass. Go watch Advent Children. I've been looking for a replacement of that movie because I loaned it to a friend and he moved away.
We actually just bought it at Hastings.
Dude, it's really cheap at Hastings.
I have to go to Hastings then. I am so sad that's closing down.
Rest in peace.
Mine, Blade Runner.
Oh,
That's a good pick.
It is one of my absolute favorite. Again, visually arresting. Story-wise, it is one of the most on-point science fiction stories I could have asked for a sort of weird dystopian future kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it inspired me to go and read the short story, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And this makes movie number 2 that I think is superior to the book in virtually every single way. The first obviously being Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Yes.
And nothing to knock against Michael Crichton. The book is good, but the book has problems, and
That's where you come in the problems.
that's where Steven Spielberg steps in and sprinkles that little bit of fairy dust that he just sneezes onto things, and they become magical sometimes. Sometimes he sneezes a little too much, and you get hooked. But
Then he also rapes rapes Indiana Jones.
yeah, well, we won't go there.
South
He was
Park.
decided. I don't know if he was in the physical penetration part. I think he was just kind of drunk on the side of the road while it was happening. He's like, "Don't look up." But yeah, it's absolutely one of my all-time favorite movies. If you get a chance to watch the original, absolutely watch it. They re-released it not long ago, and they took out a bunch of stuff and added some stuff in it. It doesn't quite work as well. But definitely, if you get the chance, see this movie one way or another.
Alright, what's next?
Next up is horror.
Alright, this is gonna be like very different.
I think this is where we're gonna hit our biggest.
Alright, I will
biggest
let
ones.
the horror buff start with
Okay.
hers.
The original Nightmare on Elm Street.
I'll work with that.
I enjoyed them immensely. I had to watch lots of horror films when I was young because my parents tried to make me, and that was one of the first ones. Honorable,
Johnny Depp and Robert Englund.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. Like I had to watch all of them, and I enjoyed them, even though they gave me lots of nightmares.
Okay.
For me, I was never like big on horror movies. That's why I have the Scream series on there. Like it's just, I mean, it got a TV show later on, but it's just like that. That's the movie I think of most when people talk horror. You know, it was cheesy, but like I liked the fact that there was like my favorite character in that is the movie buff who tells everybody exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And even though he died in the second one, in the third one he left a video and he was like, "So we're hitting the trilogy now," and like everything he said is always on point, and that's what.
That was always my biggest problem with Scream, is it invariably devolved almost into a self-deprecating humor
Yeah.
with that character, and
I
like
didn't
after the
see that.
first one, and even most parts of the first one, I would say, they don't really know how to write some of these characters, and it just comes off, in my opinion, a little hackneyed and cliched. But that was kind of what they were going for, was kind of a serious aping of like the slasher genre.
I
Yeah,
just didn't
that's
find
kinda why-
Scream to be a horror film.
Yeah, well, like that, like I said, that's just what sticks out. Like even though
Right.
But again, I
do
grew
not-
up watching like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I like that series
stuff
much
like that.
better than like the movies, and number 4 was just awful.
Yeah.
Alright, what do you got?
Funny story, I was actually going to pick The Nightmare on Elm Street because it's full of a whole bunch of practical effects. I was going to pick either that or Poltergeist, and I figured that's going to be expected. I love both of those movies because they're full of practical effects, and they do a lot of really great cinematography and a lot of tricks of the eye. I love Freddy's appearance and his juxtaposition of his character versus the
Yes.
environment, and he was always really, really fun. But in the end, I had to go with a horror movie that legitimately scares me to this day, and that is the very first Alien.
I always thought that was more sci-fi, but I could see
It
Alien.
is one of my favorite horror movies, flat. It works
Alien
great.
does scare the shit out of me.
It
now that I
does.
think about it.
It plays on your claustrophobia, your fear of the dark. It puts you in a situation where you're going to be jumpy and scared no matter what happens. And I always point to this, and I am invariably right with this, the scene with the cat and the chains. That expression right there tells you everything you need to know about that. Just summing that up, I'm not going to say anything else, just look up that scene.
That's not
This is
wrong. at
one of
all.
my favorite horror movies because it uses the environment and your own neuroses to its advantage to terrify you. And that, I think, is what a horror movie should be about, not blood and guts and jump screams.
I do have
Which is what horror seems to devolve in today.
I do have an honorable mention, and it's the original Friday the 13th, where it was Jason's mom.
See, I never really got into that one.
I enjoyed it because this is before Jason Voorhees came. It was like they were blaming it on Jason Voorhees, but
Right.
it was his crazy ass mom, and
Right.
we didn't get Jason till like the second one.
No, I can understand that, I guess.
That's just an honorable mention because before I got to where I didn't horror movies scared the crap out of me, and then I started watching shows that kind of debunked horror stuff. So now a horror movie is very bland, and I have a hard time watching them.
Yeah.
Because I'm just no.
I've got one honorable mention: Leprechaun. Have you ever seen Leprechaun?
Are you kidding me?
Yes. When I was young, that
With his little shoe
scared me.
polishing thing, and he gets on the little tricycle, and how is that scary?
No,
He
there was
Lele.
ridiculous.
Don't
When I was
forget
little, it
when
scared me.
Leprechaun 2 went to the hood.
Oh, God. That was not Warwick Davis's finest moment, let's just say that.
It scared me
He
when I
was
was little.
better as a magician in Willow. He was a more convincing leprechaun there.
I was scared when I was little. I mean, we're talking about when we were small. When I was small, that scared me. That was
Hornswoggle was a better
He
Leprechaun.
did give us Jennifer Aniston's first appearance, though.
True.
So,
Thank you, Leprechaun. That's
there you
cool.
go. Thank you for kicking off a fifth of Friends there.
Alright, what's next, man?
Next up, this is one that I had a really hard time nailing down because I have so many that I love so much. Comedy.
Comedy.
Yes.
Man, comedy, I have so many problems with that one.
Well, I have a lot more favorites from my childhood than I do modern comedies. So, but anyway, continue.
Man, I don't
really have.
I
one
can't
for
choose
comedy.
one, dude. This is a kind of I have a recent comedy, but I don't have from my childhood because there's just my dad watched comedy. There's so many.
I know.
I can't pick one. Dude.
Just pull one out your ear.
Oh man, no, I can't waste it. I can't waste it. I can't.
Okay, what about Airplane?
I never saw the original Airplane.
You never saw Airplane?
I've never seen Airplane.
I'm surrounded by Philistines.
I'm so sorry.
You shame me. Young Frankenstein.
I've never
Blazing
watched
Saddles?
But yes.
Okay, Blazing Saddles. Just say
Okay,
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
There you go. Blazing Saddles. Wonderful movie. Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. There's so many honorable mentions, but
God, Jared,
I'm so sorry.
you shame me.
I'm so sorry. There's so many comedies I could say though, but it's just, oh man, go, Sean.
My turn?
Yep.
Actually, I was going to pick Blazing Saddles, but when I thought long and hard about it, I actually had to give it to another Mel Brooks movie, Silent Movie. And don't be ashamed if you've never heard of this one. It's not one of his better known ones, and for the life of me, I don't know why. Essentially, it's a silent movie shot in what was then modern times. It was like the 70s. But it's probably one of his most underappreciated, most brilliant movies of all time. Everything is perfect for a silent movie. It shouldn't be a silent movie. It's, for those of you who need a rundown, it's Mel Brooks, Dom DeLuise, and Marty Feldman going around trying to secure funding to make a silent movie in their current era. And everything is so wonderfully exaggerated. It works so well. They've got so many wonderful, wonderful cameos in it. If you can find a copy of this movie, I highly recommend watching it. If you enjoy slapstick and all-around silliness, you will laugh until you hurt.
I think another one that falls into comedy for me, and it could very much be blended into many categories. The Back to the Future franchise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can work with that.
Like I genuinely laughed my ass off at those movies.
I'll work
when I
with
was a
that.
little kid. That would be another one.
I'll work
Like,
with
I
that.
was-
There's a lot of really good jokes in there, a lot of really subtle ones. Funny story, one of the most subtle jokes that you can have in there, when Marty is playing for the judges,
Yeah.
the judge that stands up and tells him he's just too loud, no good, that's Huey Lewis. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right. Next one.
Next one is animation.
I got this one.
Animated movies from our childhood. All right, Jared, nail it.
Return of the Joker.
Yeah, I'll work with that.
Return of the
I'll work
Joker.
with that. It's a good one. It's
I
solid.
have a list of animation
For
that
those
I
for those
like,
who are
but
uninitiated, please give an elaboration.
Batman Return of the Joker is
Batman Beyond.
Yeah, it's Batman Beyond.
Just
Return of the Joker. It is it's the new guy and the Joker. Like a bunch of crime sprees happen, and it turns out there's a kingpin, and it's the Joker, and Batman is terrified. Like
Yeah,
the original
it's-
Bruce Wayne, he's like, "No, you're dead. You can't be alive.
Yeah.
This isn't possible." And this is like by far one of my favorite Joker stories
It is
because he set a time bomb off in Tim Drake's head, and like,
Oh, well,
well,
spoilers.
yeah, like it's definitely one of my favorite animated movie, and it's one of my favorite Batman
The
stories.
only reason I would disagree with that is because it's a movie from a show, and where you kind of have to have the show as build up to it and backstory for the characters.
Yeah, but I
don't
mean,
know. But if you get a
mostly
chance,
everybody has seen it.
Batman Beyond is a really good series.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't really necessarily need Batman Beyond
don't
to
suppose
watch
you need
Return of
it,
the
but
Joker.
It definitely adds a lot of flavor text to what happens and
Yeah.
development.
Okay, Jody.
Anastasia.
The Disney movie that wasn't Disney.
Yeah.
I liked Anastasia. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of animated series from when I was young, but that was one that I greatly enjoyed.
I will say that it was probably, was that 20th Century Fox or Warner Brothers? I forget.
I'm
It
pretty
was
sure it was
Warner
Warner
Brothers.
Brothers.
Was it Warner
I'm
Brothers?
pretty sure.
Whoever it was one of their best animated features that they put out.
I liked it.
Okay.
And for anybody who wants to argue the Quest for Camelot is better than that, tell them to go suck a lemon.
Okay, and what's yours, man?
I again have a tie.
Okay.
Both of these movies are very dear to me, very, very close to my heart because I grew up with them for so much and they presented such an amazing view of the world. I'm going to start out with my honorable mention, and that is The Last Unicorn. It's a very wonderful story, it's a very wonderful animation. I'm not going to say a whole lot. For those who know out there, you know this movie, you know this story, and I'm sure will agree with me that it's very wonderful. For those of you who don't, I'm just going to say go watch it. It's good.
Okay.
It's very good. My top pick, though, has to go to The Secret of Nim.
I've seen that. My knowledge on it
should
is.
hope so. It's
I've seen it. My memory of it is, like, I saw it when I was really young.
It's probably one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. It ranks right up there with all the others I've listed from my childhood, and just packs such a wallop. The animation is Don Bluth at his absolute finest. I mean, we're talking like Dragon's Lair era.
Yeah.
All of it in an animation, wonderful characters, wonderful acting, just all around. I'm trying to dance around spoilers because I could literally talk about this movie all day.
Yeah. Let's not get into it. but-
I have one honorable mention myself.
I've,
Pokemon, the first movie.
I have three.
I'm trying to talk about The Secret of Nim, damn it, and you're bringing up Pikachu! Do the thing!
No!
Christina, where are we at time-wise?
29 minutes.
Okay, we'll be wrapped up soon.
Wait, 9 minutes?
29.
29.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna, we'll need to
We'll have
do the
to-
new video on a separate one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll wrap this up real quick.
But
yeah, that's
I have
Secret of Nim and the Last Unicorn. Absolute great.
I
movies. Go
have
see.
three honorable mentions.
Good lord.
Yeah, The Lion King. Absolutely love The Lion King. When I
Yeah.
like, this is like my young childhood. Like,
I know, I always found Lion King to be a little overrated.
second honorable mention, it was actually a go-between because it was part live action, part animated. The Page Master. I like The Page Master.
Have you watched that movie recently?
No.
I guarantee you it's not as good as you remember.
Okay, well, I'll
I've
have
never
to
seen
go
it.
back and do that.
You're gonna have to, 'cause
Okay.
that is not as good as you remember, I guarantee.
Probably not. And then number 3 is I watched it and it was very adult at the time. Princess Mononoke.
Yes, I will agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
That's by far was like very close on my list.
No, I wanted to put that in there, but I discovered it a lot later than most other people did, I think.
I saw it when I
But
was
when I
like
did discover it, I was
7 or
like,
8.
wow, this guy's awesome. And I went and watched Miyazaki's other stuff, and looking back on that, I can definitely see that's
I
like
had-
his most raw and ambitious.
I had a bunch of Miyazaki. Like when you said animated, like my mind went to Miyazaki.
Yeah, no, he is a wonderful, wonderful filmmaker. I don't know what shade they use for their skies. I love Studio Ghibli skies.
Yeah.
They look so wonderful and open. All right, last category, romance. A love story of some kind.
Titanic, no boat.
Titanic.
I'm
All right,
sorry.
Titanic. You just having that on there because it's the greatest love story
Well,
ever
I
told.
mean, otherwise, like my favorite love story is freaking Leia and Han. Empire Strikes Back.
Then Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Okay.
Best love story ever is Han and Princess Leia.
I love you. I know.
Yeah, it's a great line.
Thank you, Harrison Ford.
I'm about to trump you though.
Okay.
The Princess Bride.
I agree with you. I agree.
Rob Reiner,
Why?
Cary Elwes,
I'm
Mandy Patinkin, Andre the Giant, Wally Shawn, Robin Wright Penn.
You are-
so many wonderful characters, so many wonderful things. God, Peter Falk reading to Fred Savage as his grandson. I went and saw this movie in theaters, like, God, less than a year ago. And it
You
just
were just-
absolutely holds up so goddamn well.
You're right.
Go watch the trailer for that and then tell me that is magic in the making.
You-
Because it is a wonderful movie. I strongly recommend seeing
That's
this.
like that was a great way to end this list, man. That
Music
was
by Mark Knopfler,
like-
Dire Straits.
well done. That
Yes.
was that I. Let's end the video.
Somebody get me a mic. I gotta drop it.
Dude, well done. That's gonna wrap it up for this is our old videos, like our older movies. We're coming at you next with new ones. So please stay tuned.
See you in a couple.
We'll be right back.